Hi, this is Bob Ramsey, and this is a big idea. Lots of people tell you to live in the moment, and certainly there is some truth to this. It's good to stop and smell the roses, but as a leader, too much of this is dangerous. Consider Aesop's fable of the ant and the grasshopper. The ant works all summer while the grasshopper plays. The grasshopper says, "Why are you working? Enjoy the day." And the ant says, "Winter is coming, I need to prepare." And then when winter comes, the ant is comfortable and the grasshopper goes hungry. Notice the two strategies. The grasshopper is living in the moment, but the ant is thinking beyond the present moment. That's a difference of temporal horizon, and this makes a big difference. In one study, researchers asked heroin addicts to finish two sentences. Sentence number 1. After awakening, Bill began to think about his future. In general, he expected to. Sentence 2. Joe is having a cup of coffee in a restaurant. He is thinking of a time to come when. They also gave this exercise to a control group of demographically similar but non-addicted adults, and when they compared their responses, they found major differences. Let's look at the first sentence. People in the control group answered with things like, get a promotion or get married. They had an average temporal horizon of 4.5 years. But when the addicts answered, they said things like, go to the doctor's office for an appointment. On average, they used a temporal horizon of only 9 days. We see the same thing happening in the second sentence. People in the control group would answer with an average temporal horizon of about a week, while the addicts answered with an average time frame of about an hour. The results were clear. Addicts think in extremely short time frames, and this short temporal horizon leads to poor decisions. For example, when addicts play card games, they are more likely to follow risky strategies with big potential rewards, even though they can make more money with a more conservative strategy. When researchers give them the choice between $375 now or $1,000 in 12 months, they are more likely to take the immediate money. The pattern is clear. The shorter your time frame, the less you apply self-discipline in your decisions. That's the law of the temporal horizon. And it doesn't just apply to addicts. Imagine yourself in a restaurant. What's going to help you stick to your diet? Smelling the unhealthy food or thinking about the blood pressure test next month? When you look into the future, you're more likely to make yourself do the right thing. That's the law of the temporal horizon. As your timeline expands, your self-discipline rises. Now as a leader, remember that this also applies to your people. If they engage in too much short-term thinking, then their self-discipline will drop and their productivity will drop. And this is more common than you might think. Here are two mistakes that I see leaders make. Mistake number 1, micromanaging at the expense of purpose. Leaders can get so focused on monitoring performance that they forget to communicate the big picture. This inadvertently encourages short temporal horizons. Mistake number 2, over-encouragement at the expense of goals. Leaders can get so focused on motivation that they don't connect it to long-term goals. This can compress their temporal horizon. Both of these mistakes can be deadly to your long-term success. Okay, so here are 3 tips. Tip number 1, expand your own temporal horizon. You can't help others think long-term if you're stuck in the present, so set some long-term goals. Set 10, 20, 50, 500-year goals. Read them every day and develop your long-term thinking habit. Tip number 2, create a list of phrases that extend to temporal horizon. Then use these scripts in everyday conversation. For example, say things like, will this help us reach our 5-year goals? Is this something we want to make a habit of? And if we slept on it, would we think it's a good idea tomorrow morning? Work phrases like this into your natural vocabulary. Tip number 3, write out the long-term vision for your team. Your people need something in the distance worth looking forward to. As a leader, it's your job to cast this vision and bring people back to it when times get tough. Okay, I'm out of time, but I would love to discuss some additional techniques such as how to deal with someone who refuses to think long-term and what to do with your temporal horizon when the future seems really uncertain. But for now, I hope this was valuable. When you're leading people, always remember the law of the temporal horizon. I'm Bob Ramsey. Good luck.